How did you deal with him? And he's the best player that we've ever seen.
There's so many elements to it. It's not just like, you're going up against him 1v1, because if it's 1v1, he would kill you. Because he can go left, he can go right. He's quicker than me.
Look at his feet. You can't play against that. You cannot play. And that's old Ronaldo. In this video, we're going to take a look at what defenders think of Cristiano Ronaldo after they played him, and also defenders that played with him as well. I'm very interested in what the peers of the greatest players in the world, the people who played with him and stepped on the pitch with Ronaldo, Messi, Pele, all of these great players, what they think, what it was like to play with him, what it was like to feel him on the ball, what it was like to try and sense his anticipation and other players like that. I've done a video like this with Messi, of course Messi, and what players think about Messi, and it done really well, and everyone asked me to do the same about Ronaldo. So we're going to take a look at some videos. We've got Ashley Cole, we've got Rio Ferdinand, we've got Gary Neville, we've got some other players that played with him. We're going to watch the videos, and we're going to also take a look at some clips of Ronaldo playing as well, some obviously gameplay as well, because he was spectacular to watch, of course. So we're going to start with Ashley Cole, who I believe could be argued one of the greatest defenders of all time. Ashley Cole won pretty much everything except for the World Cup, and he was part of one of the best defences, in fact the best defence in Premier League history under Jose Mourinho. So we're going to take a look at what Ashley Cole thinks, who could handle anyone, I thought, on his day. So let's see what he's got to say. This is on the Peter Crouch podcast, I think. Yeah, Peter Crouch podcast. So let's give it a whirl.
Clips of you dealing with Ronaldo, for instance. How did you deal with him? And he's the best player that we've ever seen. One of three, maybe.
Yeah, it's tough. There's so many elements to it. It's not just like, you're going up against him 1v1, because if it's 1v1, he would kill you. Because he can go left, he can go right, he's quicker than me. So I certainly understood his strengths and his weaknesses, and then, utilise my teammates by going, whether it's JT, you've got to, when I go out quick, you've got to cover my back. Like, if he knocks it past me, you have to be there. Or Essien or Lamps, if he drives inside, I'm going to give him enough space where Lamps, you've got to be across. Or the wingers, you've got to drop down sometimes, certain scenarios, right, and moments where if I can't get there and be isolated 1v1, then Malouda, you have to sprint back down.
Yeah, he doesn't want to be caught alone by him. I mean, Ashley Cole had pace as well. I thought Ashley Cole was like, if you could create a defender in a lab, you'd probably make him a little bit taller. But for a left back, which he played predominantly, he was almost a perfect defender. So it's interesting to hear him say, Ronaldo, I couldn't have him one-to-one. I couldn't get him one-on-one because he could go left, he could go right, and he'd just kill me. And I don't think he just killed players. I think at times he completely embarrassed them. Some of the clips that we might watch in a bit, and you see the touches. One of the touches that I always remember at Cristiano is when the ball comes over and he controls it and then sort of clips it through his legs and changes direction. You'll know exactly what I'm talking about when we see it on the clips in a bit. And he changes direction so quickly. And as a defender, that's your biggest nightmare. Someone who can just go either way. And again, similar to Messi, you don't know which side he's going to take it on. And Cristiano could put it in the back of the net from 30 yards out on any day as well. So Cole saying, I needed backup no matter what against them. Because I'm sure there's players that you can play against where you think, I can take him one-on-one. I can just back off. I can push him to the byline. But with players of this level of Cristiano and Messi's stature, you're just not. You're never going to be comfortable on the pitch with him. So interesting from, again, one of the best defenders I've ever seen in real life, Ashley Cole. The next defender that is talking about him is Chiellini. I think Chiellini played against him a couple of times, but also played with him for Juventus. I haven't seen this clip, but I know he's talking about Ronaldo, so let's see what he's got to say in this clip.
Then when you are losing, he had the balls to have call the balls no matter what, try to win, shoot from everywhere in order to lead the team to win. And it's not easy to do it for a lot of players. I love
Talking
to
about
play
his
with him
leadership.
because working with him and look at him every day with little details is very nice. I was 35 and he was 34, something just 6 months between us. And we weren't obviously at our prime, but it was very funny to play with him and look how much big is his personality. We cannot say for me it's better Messi or Cristiano, but if I have to pick one for a final, Cristiano or...
Cristiano or Messi?
I love to play with Cristiano, and I saw when the game is more difficult, he raises his level of performance.
That's interesting, isn't it? That's a really interesting opinion. I've always sort of said that I think Messi's a better overall player than Cristiano, but Cristiano's a better goal scorer. And what Chiellini's saying there is that if you're in a final and you need a goal, which one of those two players would you pick? And I think in my last video I had such a good response from it, because people were debating that fact, whether Cristiano's a better goal scorer than Messi, and it's always really close, but you think goals per game, don't you? That's the only way you can measure it, but it's not. That's not just the only way you can measure it. It's goals per shots, it's conversions, it's how many times did they shoot and score, how many chances did they create in that moment, how many goal scoring chances did they get, and how many of them did they convert. I'd like to see them stats. If you've got them stats, put them in the comments below. But Chiellini saying, I'd prefer Ronaldo in a final because he can lead. He can pick up the game and lead the team into victory at any point. I don't think he's saying Messi can't do that, by the way. I think he's just saying, playing with Ronaldo, he thinks Ronaldo would do that more often than Messi would, which is interesting. You'd have to look at finals and see how instrumental he were. I mean, he won 5 Champions League finals, didn't he? I think Messi won 4 though. So, or did he win 4? Yeah, I think Messi won 3 or 4. So it's going to be hard to pick that. I don't know if you can pick a winner there, but for me, I'm sort of leaning, even though I love Messi and I think he's the better player overall, I do think that in that moment, if I needed to pick one and it was the closing seconds of a game and I needed to win, I think I would pick Ronaldo to score the goal. I think. But then again, now I'm thinking about the World Cup final against France, and Messi basically won that game. He picked the game up by the scruff of the neck, scored in extra time, and you don't know. And that's on the biggest stage ever. Neither of those players would shy away from winning the game in that moment. So I don't know, but it's interesting to see Chiellini talk about it in that way. I've got an interesting video here on Jose Mourinho talking about managing Cristiano, which I think is always interesting. We've got people who played against him, played with him, and in this video we've got Jose Mourinho being asked how he coached Ronaldo and what it was like to coach him. So let's see what Jose has to say. Smiling in this video, strangely enough. You never see him smiling much when he's managing, but let's go.
Specimen on a day-to-day basis. Do you even coach him?
I think you don't coach. Motivation, you don't need to give him. Ambition, responsibility, you cannot give him. It's about being happy, and it's about creating an environment by the tactical point of view, by the idea of football where the player can show the best. I think Madrid for him was a little bit of a transition because he was a winger. The right winger, the left winger, wide, dribbling, attacking people. In Madrid, he became more the goal scorer.
Yeah, he got played up front
for the rest of his career. In fact, probably was the first time he played as a striker was Real Madrid Barcelona.
That header
In the cup final where he scored an amazing goal with an amazing header. Probably that was the beginning of that animal.
Yeah.
A goal scorer and not just a pure winger.
Yeah, I agree with that. When he went to... Don't get me wrong, everyone knew he was an amazing goal scorer. Even at Manchester United, he was clearly an amazing goal scorer. But when he went to Madrid, he did turn into a different animal. That Jose Mourinho's completely right. He did turn into a completely different animal. I always think, though, I would have liked to see him play up front in his prime in the Premier League. And would he have scored that many goals? Because when you look at some of the games, when you look at La Liga especially, even now when you watch La Liga, when you look at the teams outside of the top 5, they're so bad. They're so bad. And if you follow La Liga and you think I'm wrong, feel free to destroy me in the comments. But I don't think the level of defending is what it is in La Liga than it is in the Prem. And it's the same at Juventus when he was scoring at Juventus. You know, Italian leagues are really slow, and Cristiano's fast twitch, fast, explosive, and you know he's always going to score millions of goals in those leagues. But I do think he did elevate his game going to Real Madrid, but I'm not sure he would have scored that many goals, even played up front, if he'd have stayed in the Premier League. I'm not sure he would have done that. It's interesting that Alex Ferguson didn't often play him up front, which is strange, because Alex Ferguson is probably one of the best managers ever. You'd think he would have recognised that sooner, but Alex Ferguson won the Champions League with Cristiano, and he won the Premier League multiple times with Cristiano, so I think he won it multiple times with him, so you can't really argue. You know, he got what he needed out of Cristiano at that time, and he won everything there was to win at the time. So interesting hearing Jose Mourinho. There's a clip here of Ryan Giggs talking about him, and also Phil and Gary Neville talking about him as well, who obviously played with him at Manchester United. So let's see what they've got to say in this video.
Was a goal he scored against Porto, and it was about 40 yards out.
I remember this goal. This was in the Champions League against Porto, and he picked it up just in front of the halfway line. And Giggs shaking his head here is exactly the reaction that I had to that goal.
Unbelievable goal. To go back to Portugal against one of his rivals as he was growing up, to score that goal, I mean, there's 3 or 4 times on a pitch where I've gone, wow, and that was one of them.
He had so much confidence. Even you know, Gary said his first 2 years when he was developing, he knew that where he was going to end, and he was going to end up to be probably one of the best players in the world, because he had that unbelievable confidence, the ability, the vision.
Yeah, he did. That's exactly what you knew. He was theatrical as well. He was theatrical not only, you know, when he got kicked, he'd roll on the floor, but he was theatrical in when he scored. He was aggressive. He was, you know, he took the game. He took it personally, and I think that fire in him, even when you were watching him in the Premier League when he first came on the scene, you knew that it was common knowledge for everyone that he wanted to be the best player in the world, and he was gonna be. Like, he made it clear that that's what he's aiming for. And even though he didn't, I don't know whether he specifically said that in the media or whatever, he couldn't really speak good English when he first came to Manchester United, but when he was playing on the pitch, you could see he had a goal. He had a task, and that task was to be the best of all time, athletically, goal scoring wise, player, Ballon d'Ors, Champions League. That's what he wanted. You could see the hunger inside of him. There's an interesting image of him and his son side by side, Cristiano and his son side by side, and I just think this is interesting. It's a slight aside from the video, but you see the two of them at a similar age, and you look at their eyes, and it says you can see in their eyes which one's got the hunger and which one hasn't got the hunger. And you can see Cristiano, even at the age of maybe 12, 13, he looks like, this is my dream. This is what I'm going to achieve. And Giggs, about that goal at Porto, he scored many goals like that. He scored so many goals like that, and he was just incredible. This is it. Let's take a look at some of his gameplay. Anyway, I don't need to go too much into the gameplay, but I just like to watch a genius at work. So let's take a look at some of these goals. I'm quite a technical sports fan, so when it comes to technique, I'm really that's what I'm really interested in. And Cristiano had incredible technique, especially the way he struck the ball. So let's take a look at some of his clips. This is his header. That was when he first got started up front, I think. Just the athleticism. Jose Mourinho there off the bench. Just the pure athleticism. I always found that is... Sorry, I'll play that free kick in a sec. He didn't actually score many free kicks, which is interesting. But people think he was like a free kick master, but he wasn't. He didn't score that many free kicks. But the ones he did score were like this. Bang. Like heats. I always try and compare Cristiano to everything he touched on the pitch. He was like a heat-seeking missile. So when he struck the ball, like take a look at that free kick again. And even when he's in the air, look at the way he connects with the ball. So take a look at this free kick. The free kick. It's like a heat-seeking missile. It's like he programs the ball. Look, bang. He programs the ball where to go, and it moves like a heat-seeking missile as well. I've never seen anyone strike a ball quite like Cristiano did. And even with his header, even with that header, you know, it's almost like he's the missile in that sense, and he calculates where the ball is and where he needs to strike it, and that calculation just comes to a point, and he just leathers it, and he gets the perfect connection. And you'll see this in many of his clips. He's such an incredible striker of the ball. Let's fast forward this a little bit better. Even that, look, like that's sort of a simple finish for Cristiano, but the ball comes over. But even the intersection of that goal, where the ball's coming at pace from like quite a distance and he's running at a different angle, it's almost like he's calculated the trajectory of the ball already in his head, and he just meets it perfectly. And he's made that look easy, but that is a very, very difficult goal to score. And take a look at this. This is the skill I was talking about before. Cut inside, and then look at the connection on that ball to put it in the top corner on his left foot. He was just... Look at his feet. You can't play against that. You cannot play. And that's old. That's old Ronaldo. Ah, that was beautiful. Beautiful. Let's skip this forward a little bit further. I liked some of his older clips are better than his newer clips, I think. Here he is against Manchester United, or for Manchester United, under free kick. Not a keeper in the world would have stopped that free kick. Look at this. Boom. Stop it. Look, heat-seeking missile right into the top bin. He just doesn't... There's quite a lot of free kicks in here. Maybe I'm wrong. Am I wrong in saying he didn't score that many free kicks? Or maybe they just put it in the video just to prove it. He's great. What I love to see is him coming in from inside. So picking it up on the left or the right, controlling it, cutting inside, and then just smacking it into the top corner. I think this is one specific example. Or this is the goal against Porto that Ryan Giggs was talking about. Look how far out this is. Look, takes it out. Missile, calculated, bang. I know how hard I need to hit it. I know what part of the boot I need to hit it with, and this is where it's going. Look at that for a goal. The ball doesn't even spin. He's hit it that well. Absolutely incredible. Look, this is for Manchester United. Again, header. Just perfect calculation on where the ball's going to be. See if I can see another clip of him cutting inside. I want to see one of them cutting inside. They were my favourite clips. He done it many, many times for Real Madrid. I also think that Cristiano was the best header of a ball of all time as well. I think that's what he's got over Messi, for sure. For sure. No one can head a ball like Cristiano Ronaldo. Nobody. Take a look at this. See, even diving headers and everything. He was superb. Here's a goal for Manchester United. Here he is cutting inside. And look at that for a connection. Notice the ball just doesn't spin when he hits it. He gets that much of a perfect connection on the ball. And look at the confidence there. Yeah, so incredible player. Interesting to see those opinions on him. And especially those who played against him, like Ashley Cole. And those who played with him as well. I'm sure there was more to it than what they were saying as well, because I don't know whether you've ever played football before, but if you've played football before, when you come up against someone who's like quite fast and is good with the feet and doesn't lose the ball much, even at like amateur level, you come up against people and you're like, shit, I cannot play against this person. So imagine playing against prime Cristiano in the Premier League or in La Liga or in the Champions League and him running at you at pace. What do? You may as well just hang your boots up. You may as well just hang your boots up. But that's the video for today. If there's anyone else you want me to take a look at, put it in the comments below. If you don't already know, my name's Callie, I'm an artist, and I've recreated Cristiano many times. And you can download all of my artwork for free as a phone wallpaper. All you need to do is go to this website that I'll put in the description below. It's my website. Take a look at the free wallpapers on there. You can download them completely free. And if you enjoyed this video, you might also like this video as well. So thanks for watching. If you liked the video, like and subscribe. And I'll see you again next week with another video. Have a boss day.